Hello, and thank you for joining this presentation about the city's decision not to move forward with the underpass at the railroad tracks on the West 72nd Avenue project. Due to considerable cost escalation, the city determined that it was no longer financially responsible to move forward with the project. When voters approved the $64.5 million for the West 72nd Avenue portion of the bond in 2018, the project was financially feasible. Today, cost estimates have more than doubled to $137 million. Despite extensive efforts to reduce costs, the city determined that moving forward would require substantial trade-offs, such as significant cuts to other services. This was not an easy or simple decision, but it was the responsible one. This presentation will help explain that decision-making and the next steps along the corridor. Increased construction costs across the industry are a major factor. The project estimate climbed from $64.5 million to $97.5 million, and then to the current estimate of $137 million. These changes reflect real market conditions and updated construction plans, not something the city could have predicted or controlled. This chart displays cost escalation in the transportation construction industry as particularly extreme in recent years. Colorado indices show approximately 9% annual inflation since the 2018 bond approval, compared to a historical average of 2.6%. That is more than 3 times the typical rate of increase sustained over several years. The city also experienced unanticipated multi-year approval delays from the railroad. Union Pacific Railroad approvals, originally expected in 2021, took more than 3 years longer than anticipated. These delays pushed back the construction timeline, and each delay was further compounded by inflation. The city explored all funding options before making this decision. City staff and leadership looked at several ways to cover the increased costs, taking on more debt, using reserve funds, and diverting funds from other projects. In every case, the trade-offs were too steep. Continuing would have impacted too many other priorities. Taking on more debt could limit funds for other capital projects, affect operational budgets, and restrict flexibility to respond to future community needs. Reserve funds are intended to protect the city from financial unknowns and support service continuity during economic downturns or natural disasters. Additionally, due to the complex underground work, there is a high risk of further cost increases, and once construction begins, we would be obligated to complete the project. The city could not responsibly proceed with these risks and the potential for additional unknown project costs. Next steps for the corridor will be to focus on restoring the existing conditions from Kipling to Oak Streets. This work includes repaving, sidewalk replacement where needed, completing the Oak Street intersection, water line, sewer line, and drainage pipe installations, fence installation, limited landscaping, and some other miscellaneous repairs along the corridor. You can expect to see active construction throughout the work zone in 2026. We encourage you to visit the project webpage and sign up for email updates that will be mentioned at the end of this presentation for the most current information on timelines and construction impacts as that information becomes available. The city remains committed to the original intent of the ballot measure to improve safety and traffic flow through this corridor. A study of an at-grade crossing and widening alternative is underway. This process includes design, planning, railroad approvals, and construction, with funding evaluated at each phase. Because the current project was designed with an underpass, an at-grade option requires new design work and a new railroad approval process. This may take 5 to 10 years to complete if deemed feasible. As a reminder, this project was funded by the voter-approved 2018 3F bond measure. The funds can only be used for improvements along West 72nd Avenue from Kipling to Sim Streets, and the now completed work on Ralston Road from Yukon to Garrison. The city cannot direct these funds to other projects. The bond funds can be used on the project corridor or to repay the money used on completed work. Of the $64.5 million allocated to West 72nd Avenue, $41 million has been spent on work completed to relocate utilities and widen the corridor from Sims to Oak. Some remaining funds will restore the existing corridor from Oak to Kipling. The rest will be held while the city evaluates the feasibility of an at-grade crossing widening. Should the city not move forward with any additional improvements, the funds can be used to repay the bond. And our commitment to responsible planning and delivering for the community remains strong. In 2025 alone, we replaced 31 traffic signals, treated or repaved 146 lane miles of road, replaced more than 260 curb ramps, filled over 3,900 potholes, completed Ralston Creek improvements, and replaced 5.4 miles of water line. The images you see here are of the Ralston Creek improvements near Westwood's Golf Course, Ralston Road, and the West 72nd improvements from Sims to Oak. The city remains focused on long-term transportation improvements citywide. In 2025, the city completed a first-of-its-kind transportation system plan. The TSP identifies challenges, opportunities, and strategies for enhancing Arvada's transportation network for all modes of travel: walking, biking, driving, and transit. The final plan provides a prioritized list of potential infrastructure investments. The full plan identifies over 71 potential projects. This map shows the top 28 projects that ranked as high or mid-high priority in the plan. These investments will guide the city's infrastructure work for years to come, and West 72nd Avenue remains a part of that vision. You can learn more at arvadaco.gov/TSP. And finally, while this change is significant and unexpected, the city remains committed to finding a solution that improves safety and mobility on West 72nd Avenue in the way that is financially prudent. We will keep you informed of progress. Please visit the project webpage at arvadaco.gov/W72nd and sign up for email updates at go.arvadaco.gov/W72nd updates. Additionally, a comment form is available on the project webpage through March 1st, 2026 to share any additional questions or concerns you may have. Thank you for your time and understanding.